Back in high school, my friends and I decided to have a sleepover at my house. We had all the classic horror movies lined up, and we were ready for a night of scares. As the night progressed, we started hearing strange noises coming from the basement. We brushed it off as our imagination running wild due to the movies we were watching. But then, the sounds grew louder and more distinct. It sounded like footsteps and whispers. We tried to laugh it off, attributing it to the old house's creaky floorboards and our own paranoia. Still, an unsettling feeling began to settle in. As the clock ticked closer to midnight, one of my friends suggested we investigate the source of the noise. Armed with flashlights and shaky courage, we made our way to the basement. The air grew colder as we descended the stairs, and the atmosphere turned eerie. In the basement, we found nothing out of the ordinary at first glance. Just some old furniture covered with dusty sheets. But then, one of my friends spotted a door tucked away in a corner, a door we had never noticed before. Slowly, we opened it, revealing a narrow, dimly lit hallway. Curiosity got the best of us, and we cautiously walked down the hallway. It seemed to stretch on forever, the walls covered in strange symbols and faded paintings. The whispers grew louder, almost deafening, yet we couldn't decipher the words. At the end of the hallway, we found a small room. Inside, we were met with an unsettling scene, a collection of old dolls, some missing limbs or with cracked porcelain faces. The room felt charged with an eerie energy, and we could no longer deny that something was very wrong. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind us, trapping us in the room. Panic set in as we frantically tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. The whispers around us grew louder, and the dolls seemed to move ever so slightly. We were trapped with no way out. Just as the tension reached its peak, the door finally swung open, and we stumbled out into the basement. The hallway had disappeared, replaced by the familiar clutter of storage. We ran back upstairs, not looking back, and locked ourselves in my room for the rest of the night. To this day, we can't explain what happened that night. Was it a combination of our overactive imaginations and the eerie atmosphere of the house? Or did we stumble upon something truly supernatural? Regardless, we never had another sleepover at my house, and that basement door remains a mystery. Okay, so this happened a few years ago during a sleepover at my friend Emily's house. We were all having a great time, watching movies, eating junk food, the usual stuff. But as it got darker outside, things started to get a bit weird. Around midnight, we heard this strange scratching sound coming from outside the window. At first, we thought it was just a tree branch or something, but the noise was getting louder and more persistent. Emily's dog started barking like crazy, which only added to the creepy atmosphere. We decided to ignore it and tried to focus on the movie again, but then the lights flickered and went out. We all let out nervous laughs, thinking it was just a power outage, but then we heard footsteps in the hallway. They were slow and deliberate, as if someone was walking towards the living room where we were. Heart pounding, we grabbed our phones and turned on the flashlight apps, aiming them towards the hallway. But there was nothing there. No one. We were freaked out, to say the least. Emily's older brother was away for the weekend, so it couldn't have been him playing a prank. Just as we were trying to calm down and convince ourselves that it was all in our heads, we heard a faint whisper. It was so faint that we could barely make out the words, but it sounded like someone was saying, "Get out." We froze, our eyes wide with terror, as the voice repeated the chilling command. That was it for us. We grabbed our stuff and ran out of the house, not looking back until we were a safe distance away. Emily's parents were out of town, so we ended up staying at my house for the rest of the night. We never did figure out what happened that night, and we never went back to Emily's house for another sleepover. I remember the night like it was yesterday. It was a sleepover at my friend Sarah's house, and we were all gathered in her basement, huddled around in sleeping bags, eagerly awaiting a night filled with laughter and fun. Little did we know, this innocent sleepover would soon turn into a chilling nightmare. As the night grew darker, the atmosphere in the basement became strangely eerie. Sarah's older sister had warned us about strange happenings in the house, lending an air of suspense to the evening. We brushed it off as sibling pranks and proceeded with our midnight pizza feast. Around midnight, a sudden gust of wind whipped through the basement, extinguishing the candles we had lit for ambience. The room plunged into darkness, and a chill ran down our spines. Nervous giggles quickly turned into uneasy silence. That's when we heard it. A faint scratching noise, like nails against a chalkboard. We exchanged bewildered glances and slowly turned towards the source of the sound. An old wooden door at the far end of the basement stood slightly ajar, creaking ominously. Summoning our courage, we decided to investigate. As we approached the door, a cold draft swept through the basement, raising goosebumps on our arms. With trembling hands, I reached out and pushed the door open. A wave of terror washed over us as we stepped into a dimly lit hallway. Shadows danced on the walls, and strange symbols were etched onto the floor. Heart pounding, we followed the eerie glow, unaware of the horrors that awaited us. As we ventured deeper into the house, the air became heavier, suffocating us with a malevolent energy. Unearthly whispers echoed all around, making us question our sanity. Every room we entered revealed scenes of unimaginable horror: blood-stained walls, broken mirrors reflecting twisted figures, and unsettling photographs of people we didn't recognize. We stumbled upon a locked room, and curiosity overpowered our fear. It was the source of the scratching sound. With a trembling hand, Sarah unlocked the door. Inside, a solitary bedroom awaited. What I am about to share is a sleepover horror story that truly happened to me. Every detail is real, but it has always felt like something out of a nightmare. It was a chilly October evening, and my friends and I decided to have a sleepover at my house. We were into adventure and loved scary stories, so we wanted to make this one unforgettable. As the night descended upon us, we gathered in the living room, snuggled up with blankets and pillows. A dim lamp cast eerie shadows on the walls, setting the perfect ambiance for what was to come. We began exchanging spooky tales, each one more chilling than the last. Little did we know that the terror we craved was about to consume us. Once the clock struck midnight, strange things began to occur. Suddenly, a chilling gust of wind rushed through the room, extinguishing our lamp. Panic seized us, plunging us into darkness. We frantically searched for light sources and after a few agonizing moments, found our way to the kitchen. It was then that we noticed the unsettling silence. The world outside seemed to have been engulfed by an eerie quiet. Feeling uneasy, we resolved to explore the house together in search of answers. As we crept through the hallways, images of horror movies played in our minds. Each creak of the floorboards echoed like a malicious whisper. Then, we stumbled upon a closed door that we had never seen before. The handle emitted an odd, pulsating glow. Curiosity overpowered our fear, and we decided to open it. Inside was a room like no other. It was barren, save for a worn-out Ouija board situated in the center. Although we had always been cautious about dealing with the supernatural, our curiosity once again got the better of us. We huddled around the board and placed our hands on the planchette, trembling with anticipation. As we began asking questions, the planchette gradually moved of its own accord, spelling out words that sent shivers down our spines. It revealed that the house carried a dark secret, serving as a gateway to the netherworld. We were not alone. Something sinister had been awakened. Seconds turned into minutes, and minutes into hours, as we desperately tried to sever the connection to the malevolent forces we had unwittingly summoned. Yet, no matter what we did, the board refused to relinquish its grip. Fear gripped our hearts as shadows danced around the room, growing darker with each passing moment. Just as our strength and hope began to wane, a resounding crash echoed through the house. The door to the room slammed shut, trapping us inside. Panic consumed us as we banged on the door, screaming for help. But no sound escaped the room, as if we had been cast into a parallel dimension of terror. Hours turned into days, and days into an eternity. We remained trapped, tormented by the spirits we had unknowingly awakened. Each passing moment plunged us deeper into darkness, both literally and figuratively. Finally, after an indeterminate amount of time, our parents discovered us. They burst through the locked door, faces pale with fright. We thought our torment was over, but we quickly realized that our nightmare was far from finished. To this day, the memory of that sleepover haunts me. It serves as a constant reminder that some horrors lie hidden in plain sight, waiting for a curious mind to release them. I caution you, dear reader, to tread lightly when seeking thrills beyond the mortal realm, for you may just unearth more than you bargained for.
If you enjoy listening to scary horror content just like this, then hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you are updated on when I post a new video.